Welcome to SolidCAM Professor. I'm Sydney, your SolidCAM Professor, with one of many videos available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In this recording, we'll be showing you SolidCAM's auto part maker for electrodes. SolidCAM's automation application program interface, or the API, allows you to be able to automatically create operations on electrodes and allows you to complete the entire process for creating the electrodes, including other factors such as the tool sheet and G-code and whatever else you may need. Let's take a look at exactly how this works. In this folder that I have on my computer, we have a folder that has all of the electrodes that I may want to machine, and that's all I have here at this moment. Now, we'll get back to that in a few moments. The way we start our auto parts maker for the electrodes, we'll go to SolidCAM New, and we open up the option called Auto Parts Maker. When we click on that, the actual auto part maker for SolidCAM is started, and it brings us to the dialog for the API as shown over here. Now, if we take a look at the left-hand side of my screen, you can see that it is pointing to the specific folder that I had showed you before, which shows you all of the electrodes that I have inside that folder. Now, in the right-hand side of the screen, we can see we have at the very top, we choose what controller we'll be using in order to machine those particular parts that we want to work on right now. Now, below this, we have a macro where we have all of the information needed in order to create the entire SolidCAM project using the API itself. If I were just to open this up for a moment by double-clicking on it, you can see here we have a place for putting the name, process templates, which I'll talk about in a moment, and all the information that's needed in order to create the part using the API. Now let's cancel out here for a moment. We'll actually create a new macro. To create a macro, all we have to do is click on the plus and the macro editor opens up, allowing us to create a new macro. Well, the first thing we do is we have to put in a name. So the name that I'll give it in this particular case will be electrodes. Next, we have the process template. Now, what exactly is a process template? A process template is a set of operations which I've created previously in SolidCAM in itself that contains all of the operations I would like to do on the particular electrode. So, for example, I can choose a process template that's called EDM inserts, something I've created inside SolidCAM itself. Next, we have our different formats for creating the part itself, where we want to store it. We also have the stock definition. How do we want to create the stock? I can do that automatically, as well as where do I want to create our home position. If I want, I can have the top center of the stock model box, and I'll leave it that way. Whichever way I want to have my coordinate system, that is done automatically over here. How do I want to create my stock? Automatically is a 3D box taken from the measurements of the part itself. Now, we can create a tool sheet and we can create it using any one of these templates, whether it be a document or an Excel file, HTML, RTF. Let's just do it right now, doing it in an Excel file. And of course, if we want, we can create our G-code generation as shown over here. Let's click on OK, and that's all we have to do. Now, how do we create the operations? That's actually very simple. We run the API by clicking on the parts that we would like to create the operations for. And for example, I'll take these two parts over here and just drag them onto the icon of that particular macro. Drop it in there. And you can see the table opens up showing us exactly what has to be done. And this shows us the actual status. The moment I want to start working, all I have to do is click on play and just sit back and watch what happens. Now, as you see, the part was opened already inside SolidWorks itself, creating everything I need as far as the home position, the stock, automatically being created over here. The operations automatically being created on the screen itself as shown over here. And you can see that this is being done without me having to do anything. This is being done automatically, including creating the G-code. And now it's actually creating the tool sheet that I wanted it to create using the Excel format for the part itself. Now that this is done, it's working on the second part, and we can actually see what's happening in this table over here. You can see the first process was finished. Now it's working on the second part as shown over here, and everything is being done automatically without me having to interfere in any way. Again, creating the G-code, and everything has been completed. Now let's take a look at the actual folder that I had open before. If we take a look at the folder now, you can see that now all of the SolidCAM projects were added to this folder as well, completing the entire process. For more videos on SolidCAM Professor, please go to our website, www.solidcam.com, and look for the tab called SolidCAM Professor. Thank you for joining us on SolidCAM Professor. Take care and have a nice day.